spitting is really interesting because there is a voluntary component to spitting. A lot of this language is mouth related, isn't it? The spitting, the swallowing, the licking, drinking, screaming, coughing, breathing, panting, singing. Her voice is insane. Your jaw drops, and then it drops even further, and then it drops even further, and it drops even further. If there is some feminine rage in this album, I'm so here for it. Therapy is a waste of money. The amount of times I hear this in my therapy practice. How fitting is this lighting for the vibes of this song right now? What a moving, haunting, slightly terrifying concept. Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm a therapist and I really love pop music, and I'm not sure if Florence and the Machine qualifies as pure pop necessarily, but I'm really excited to listen to this album that some of you recommended. So I don't know much about Florence and the Machine. The only song I'm familiar with is The Dog Days Are Over, and I do know that she has an insane voice. So I'm really curious and really interested in what this album will sound like. Also, you guys advised that I watch some interviews before listening to this album, and I've watched two of them, the CBS one and the Apple one, which I will link both of those below if you're curious to watch them as well. And I'm really glad that I watched them. It feels like I have really important context of what was going on in Florence's life and what inspired this album. And I find it really fascinating how she spoke in the interviews about herself and about art and about performing. It sounds like she has a really interesting relationship and awareness of her body and her strengths and also her limitations. I thought it was really interesting how she described this album as a scream and also a hug, all in one. I think that's so fascinating. I'm really, really, really curious to hear what the story is here, how these emotions are going to be expressed. Because I know she also mentioned that she suffered an ectopic pregnancy and a miscarriage while she was performing and had to be rushed to emergency surgery. And aside from, the physical and emotional implications of that, she then got back on stage, I think 10 days after that, which is wild. That is so much to go through as a human being. The pain and the grief and just how much there is there to express and to process. So I'm invested. After I watched those two interviews, I was like, yeah, I need to listen to this album as soon as possible. So I'm looking forward to it. Thank you for being here and for joining me as I discover Everybody Scream by Florence and the Machine. Title track, Everybody Scream. Okay, let's see. These voices. Oh my god, I just got chills at that beat drop. I'm turning up the volume.
Get on stage and I call her by her first name.
my god, the melody.
She gives me everything, I feel no pain. I break down, get up, and do it all again. Because it's never enough, and she makes me feel loved. I can come here and scream as loud as I will. Everybody dance! Everybody sing! Everybody move! Everybody scream! Here I don't have to be quiet, here I don't have to be kind.
I have so much to say. I'm like, I don't even know what to say. um, wow. Wow. I, I'm sorry. I'm like, I think I might need to listen to more before I can actually form words. But the voices at the beginning, like this sort of spiritual, like almost church like sort of aura being created. And then we get right into that almost rock beat. Oh my God, I got like chills 3 times throughout this. And then is she talking about herself? um, Trying to stay away, always meet her back at this place on the stage. Like she just keeps coming back to the stage. I mean, that would track with the story of going through absolute trauma on stage and yet returning right back to the stage, sort of being unable to get away from the art and from the performance. Even when she breaks down, she can't break away from it. I remember from the interview, she said something about performance feeling like freedom, just this place when she's on the stage, when she's in the zone, she feels like she can just do anything, scream as loud as she wants. And this is so primal, the just dance, just sing, move, scream. Wow. And there's something about how this is being expressed, like the combination of her insane voice, this production which creates that like primal, instinctive just rhythm. It's just all like aligns so perfectly together. It just intuitive is the word that keeps coming up for me, almost like it just like was generated all together at once without too much thinking or without too much logic. Okay, I have to keep going.
I don't have to be kind, extraordinary, and normal all at the same time. But look at me run myself ragged, blood on the stage. But how can I leave you when you're screaming my name?
Oh my gosh.
Screaming my name.
I'm gonna replay this line. That oof.
Screaming my name.
Okay, someone with more of a musical background could probably describe what is happening there in the harmonies. There's almost like a dissonance. I'm not sure if that's the right word, but there's like I'm like struggling to find the language here. It feels like a chant and almost like a religious chant. And it's kind of the vibe she's describing, right? The sense of a crowd screaming her name, even when she's suffering and has literal blood on the stage. Because I think also something she's experienced that she talked about was breaking her foot while performing, bleeding everywhere, and then continuing to perform. That is an insane amount of strength and perseverance and just dedication to the craft to just keep going like that.
I will come for you in the evening, ragged and reeling, shaking my gold like a tambourine. A bouquet of brambles, all twisted and tangled. I'll make you sing for me, I'll make you scream. Everybody dance!
First of all, insane, haunting melody. Oh, really beautiful how she sings. And I love this dynamic she's referencing between the I, the performer, and the you, the audience. Because on paper, it's the performer who's singing to the audience, right? But she's saying, I'll make you, the audience, sing for me. And it raises some really interesting questions of here of sort of who is serving whom? Like, is it really the artist who's serving the audience? Or is the audience actually doing something for the artist as well, not just singing, but providing some kind of offering that helps the artist also benefit? So I like how she's referencing that mutually beneficial relationship. It's not just one way. I'm gonna replay this because I have to hear the scream that comes right after.
Here I can take up the whole of the sky, unfurling, becoming my full size. And look at me burst through the ceiling. I'm just so glad you came, breathless and begging and screaming my name, screaming my name.
God, these harmonies.
Protect me from evil, the magic and the misery, madness and the mystery. Oh, what has it done to me? Everybody scream.
You know, it's interesting she mentions witchcraft because this song is such witchy vibes. Just a witch in the forest with the long hair. I can imagine Florence with her long flowing hair and her long flowing gowns in a forest doing her spells. This song feels like a religious experience. There's something very spiritual, and I think that's part of the reason I feel like I don't quite have the words to describe what is even happening in this song. I think she is touching on something that is so real in a space like a concert where people are coming together, and somehow once there is music and screaming and community, the space becomes more than the sum of its parts. Everyone who's present there just starts to connect in a way that feels beyond the interpersonal somehow. There's just this feeling of we are part of something even greater. We are connecting in ways that we may not even be conscious of or have the words for. There is something really magical about it. And it's incredible because the music and her voice and the production are capturing the magic. Like this kind of music is going beyond what some pop music does, where sometimes pop music can feel kind of mathematical. I've heard certain producers' work be described as melodic math, where there's a verse and there's the chorus, and we have to optimize the lyrics and the rhythm to sort of fit in this constructed, sort of restricted almost structure. And already I'm just feeling the Florence madness, perhaps, magic, perhaps, which is just like so much more than a structure or a melodic math. And I'm really intrigued, and this song makes me really excited for the rest of this album. Okay. One of the Greats, interesting title.
I crawled up from under the earth, broken nails and coughing dirt, spitting out my song so you could sing along. Oh, and with each bedraggled breath I knew I came back from the dead to show you how it's done, to show you what it takes to conquer and to crucify, to become one of the great, one of the great. I kept a scream inside my chest, killed everyone I'd ever kissed.
Every beat drop, just like in that first song, when that sort of the beat drops. Oh my God. You know, she said in those interviews, she talked about the violence of greatness, is how she put it, and the cost that comes with becoming one of the greats. I mean, the imagery of coughing dirt and spitting out my songs. Spitting is a really fascinating way to describe songwriting, because it's not even, sorry, this is going to be a little graphic, but vomiting out a song would have a sort of involuntary connotation, almost like the songs are pushing, sorry again for the graphic, but like really needing to get out, almost like it's uncontrollable. That would be vomiting out a song. But spitting is really interesting because there is a voluntary component to spitting where you sort of sense internally that, okay, a song is present and I can sort of choose, I have the conscious choice to either keep it in or push it out forcefully, because there is a forcefulness to it. And so spitting is voluntary yet forceful and, yeah, kind of violent, especially because she's talking about the listeners that are going to sing along to these songs. So it's almost like she's spitting onto the listeners. This is really cool language, really cool imagery that I feel like we don't usually get in pop music. It's not usually this graphic, right?
I kept a scream inside my chest, killed everyone I'd ever kissed, hung them on the wall like trophies, each name is stained upon my lips. I told the truth but could never see it through. You see yourself hung on the wall, but that song is not about you. I wrote down all my fumbling.
Kind of feels like she's being intentionally unclear here, because there seems to be a suggestion that the people she's kissed are the people that she maybe writes songs about, sings about, and sort of hangs them up on the wall like trophies. But then she's sort of saying, but it's not about you. I'm not doing that about you.
I wrote down all my fumbling visions, transmitted by television. Got everything I thought I wanted and cried, hung over in a hotel closet. Did I get it right? Do I win the prize? Do you regret bringing me back to life? Arms outstretched.
Ooh. She did mention in those interviews, she talked about how she has self-doubt, and there's a part of her that was hoping that with fame she could sort of address that self-doubt, reduce it in some way, and she has seen through her fame that actually doesn't really work that way. But you can hear that anxiety in these questions. You can hear that self-doubt of, wait, did I win? Do you actually want me to be here and back from the dead? Or do you actually regret sort of giving me all of this? And this is an interesting question because she could be asking herself that. She could be asking her fans that. She could be asking her loved ones that. And there's a lot of sadness in that as well.
Arms outstretched back from the dead, streetlights bursting overhead. Arms outstretched back from the dead, streetlights bursting overhead. I did my best, tried to impress my childhood dream made flesh, in my dresses, in my flowering sadness. So like a woman to profit from her madness.
That lyric, so like a woman to profit from her madness. I feel anger in that line. I feel sarcasm. I feel, yeah, there's irony in that line, the sort of criticism, public criticism of femininity, of women being mad, feminine rage. If there is some feminine rage in this album, I'm so here for it.
Was only beautiful under the lights, only powerful there. Well, burned out at 36. Why did you dig me up for this? Arms outstretched.
I want to know who the you is. I mean, it could be herself digging herself up to come back from the dead. It could be the audience. It could be her loved ones. It's so interesting. Yeah, just going back to this line about how that very deep, very long-term hope and dream about maybe what being a singer and being famous could bring her. And yet the reality is burning down, burning out probably, and dying perhaps repeatedly and needing to come back from the dead. Very, very, very violent.
Arms outstretched back from the dead. Streetlights bursting overhead. Arms outstretched back from the dead. Streetlights bursting overhead. You'll bury me again. You'll sense I'll pretend that I could never be great, being held up against such male taste.
Ooh, my God, let's listen to this again.
You'll bury me again. You'll sense I'll pretend that I could never be great, being held up against such male taste.
There's so much anger here. This is so cathartic. I imagine it must be cathartic to write and to release. The absolute rage that comes with living in a society where there is a certain standard about what is perhaps sexy enough to be successful, and how sometimes reality, which can be very violent, very graphic, as this song is, sometimes that reality does not meet the sort of standard, whether it is male standard or societal standard in general, for what can be actually considered great. It's kind of cool because this song feels like it's directly challenging those assumptions and saying, you know what? Maybe those are the standards for being great, but I'm going to be great in my own way, on my own terms. Really cool.
Who really gets to be one of the greats, one of the greats? But I've really done it this time. This one is all mine. I'll be up there with the men and the 10 of the women and the 100 greatest records of all time. It must be nice to be a man and make boring music just because we can. Oh, don't get me wrong, I'm a fan. You're my second favorite frontman, and you could have me if you weren't so afraid of me.
Ooh, my gosh, my gosh, my gosh. She's relentless. This part just keeps giving. It's like your jaw drops and then it drops even further and then it drops even further and it drops even further. I love this so much. This is such a powerful acknowledgement of the patriarchy, of misogyny, and it touches on something that I think is often missed, which is there is an element of fear. Like, if we're really honest with ourselves, and I say ourselves as a Western society, perhaps there is a little bit of fear of what could happen if women had all the power, if the top 100 greatest of all time were all women, if this kind of raw honesty had the biggest platform in the world. Isn't that scary? Isn't that possibility a little scary? I love how she's painting this. It kind of is when you think about it, isn't it? It's really cool how she is acknowledging that fear.
It's funny how men don't find power very sexy. So this one's for the ladies.
Wow, yeah, that sexiness we were talking about before. It's really cool. She's taking this angry jab here because I feel like there are men who might say, yes, I do find power sexy. But when they say that, perhaps it comes with a caveat. Like, I find power sexy when I feel powerful. Or I would like a woman to be powerful, but only in certain ways, perhaps. And just the way she's singing this, she is actively stepping into her power and being okay with the fact that there will be men, there will be people who perhaps don't find it sexy. But by stepping into it, it's almost like she's saying, you know what? I think it's sexy. And the ladies are going to find it sexy. And that's who I'm going to speak to. And there's something so defiant, so confident in that.
It's funny how men don't find power very sexy. So this one's for the ladies. Do I drive you crazy? Did I get it right? Did I get it right? Do I win the prize? Do you regret bringing me back to life? Did I get it right? Do I win the prize? Do you regret bringing me back to life? Arms outstretched back from the dead, streetlights bursting overhead. Arms outstretched back from the dead, streetlights bursting to feminine to function.
Love that line. The way she sings destruction just embodies destruction. Strings building in the background. Wow, this music really lends itself to like an eyes closed experience, just like closing your eyes and just taking in all those little details and how the music is flowing and changing and evolving. Like the witchy vibes are so real here. I think what's really cool about this song is she's acknowledging her own fears. Like with these sorts of anxious questions, she's kind of owning that actually the uncertainty here, not knowing exactly how what she's communicating is landing with other people, that's scary. But then she also acknowledges other people's, men perhaps specifically, their fear of her and her power. I mean, this is a woman coming back from the dead, spitting songs. I would be scared too if I wasn't so impressed and intrigued. Um, very cool energy that she brings in this music. Okay, witch dance. It makes sense. Witch dance makes sense. Okay. More witchy vibes, please.
Over my
Is that like breathing in the background? Like and then just that first note, the way she sung it was like a moan. Okay, I'm gonna restart this song. Panting, right?
over my legs, lie down with death. We kiss, we sigh, we sweat. His blackberry mouth stains my nightgown. I put him close, wrap my legs around, and it tastes like life. I twist, I bite, the foxes shatter in the night. Show me the way, this feeling leads the ache, the kick, the need.
The way she just sung the need.
The need.
That shaking in her voice. Okay, either this woman has insane control over her voice. See, this is where I'm not sure about Florence. If it's about control over her voice, where she is making that conscious decision of, I'm gonna sing this line in a way that is like panting and shaking and just like breathy, or I think it's the second option. I'm not sure if it's the first one. I think it's the second one, which is it just comes out of her in just the most automatic and primal of ways. That's how it feels that it comes out. I mean, the way this whole first part flows, I mean, she's describing sex in such a natural, flowing way. It does feel like it's just kind of coming out of her. It feels cinematic. It feels the way that vision works, which is you just see what's unfolding in front of you in this really smooth way. And it's hard to imagine this song coming into existence any other way than just like whoosh, like here it is. Here is the cinematic experience. It's so intuitive in a way that a lot of music I listen to does not necessarily feel this way, that it just like came out of thin air. With all of these songs so far, but especially with this one, there is something really powerful in an almost spiritual way, the way these songs are unfolding and the experience of this album is unfolding.
The need. Show me the way, this feeling leaves the ache, the kick, the need.
The kick.
Shimmering landscape, widen my eyes. Can I keep all this beauty forever inside?
The beauty with which she sings this beauty.
Can I keep all this beauty
Her voice is insane.
I tear off my nightgown and run naked through the town.
The urgency.
Run through rain, run through fog, taking consolation in cats and dogs and things that cannot speak.
The whisper cannot speak.
Ran to the ancestral plane, but they all showed up drunk and insane. When I asked what I could offer them, they said gin and tonic or lithium. They asked which way should I go, and through cigarette smoke they said, child, how would we know? Show me the way.
Her voice is insane. This imagery is really interesting. The ancestral plane, but they all showed up drunk and insane. I'm sort of imagining this witch having contact with the other world and ancestors that have passed and trying to ask them for advice. But even the wisest, even the ones who have lived entire lives and afterlives cannot answer certain questions. Child, how would we know? There's something so powerful in this idea that even the dead and gone, sometimes there are just things that are so uncertain that even the wisest of the wise may not actually know.
This feeling is the ache, the kick, the need. Show me the way. This feeling is the ache, the kick, the need. Time beyond reason. Ruin a thing. A stranger came to my door. And I welcomed him in.
This feels like a metaphor. I mean, of course, you could take it as literally or as metaphorically as you might like, but this idea of wanting something so bad, it's beyond logic. You can't really reason with it. It's just this emotional need and want that there can be a certain level of risk you take, like opening the door to a stranger and letting them into your home. There's risk in doing that. But sometimes when you want something, whatever that may be, so badly, it's like you're blinded by the power of that you're not even stopping to consider what could be the consequences here, really.
My feet are bleeding. I cannot stop.
Again, a cool line that you can take as literally or as figuratively as you want. She did talk about how her foot broke during a concert and she was bleeding. But the metaphor of your feet, your metaphorical feet that take you through life and have perhaps walked many paths, taken very long, very painful journeys, and you are suffering the consequences of that, but something keeps you going, perhaps to the point of really hurting yourself because you're overlooking all of the pain that it's causing you. It's really powerful. Again, very violent, again, very powerful.
Many, many miles, yeah, to cry.
How does this woman have this voice? How does she, I'm going to do some research and I don't know how she sings this way. Like, what kind of training has she had, or was she just born with it? Imagine your feet are bleeding. Imagine you're already suffering for the journey you've taken, and yet you still have more miles to cross. Like, what a painful position to be in when you've already suffered, and yet you are choosing to continue to suffer.
I came to a clearing full of wailing and keening, a well of tears that never runs dry. The women say
Are these the witches, the ancestors that have come to the clearing in the forest? It gives such forest and nature visuals here.
Thrust my fists in the ground, and the earth made a moaning sound.
Ooh.
I
Ooh.
feel something shudder deeper, deeper down.
The imagery is insane here, the emotions, the idea of having an interaction with the ground, with the earth. There's something angry about thrusting her fists in the ground, but the earth made a moaning sound, which can be interpreted, I guess, in many ways. I mean, is the earth receiving that in pleasure? And is it almost a sensual moaning? Or is it a moan out of pain? And the idea of going deeper can be deeper into the earth, deeper into her psyche, into her emotions.
Deeper, deeper down. And I met every monster from the bar to Broadway, and all their violent offers, I just turned them away. And your threats and your promises, they don't scare me. After all, there's nobody more monstrous than me.
Ooh. Which the little strings being plucked. You know, I really appreciate these outros on the songs, that even when the words stop, the music continues for quite a bit, which a lot of music sort of ends and it's about getting to the next song quite quickly. But there is something about how the music dies down at the end of these songs that really brings you to the present moment. It's almost allowing the words that you've just heard to sink in a deeper way. A really cool song that I think can be about fame, but it could be about desire in a much greater sense. Sometimes we have really deep drives and desires, not just physically, but also emotionally, and how when we really sort of sit with the origin and the depth of those desires, we can see that there is a sort of violence to them. Like if we were to release desire, whether that is a desire for a person or for fame, if we were to just allow that to be expressed in its rawest form, that it could actually be very dangerous to us and to others. And it's cool how she's kind of acknowledging the violence and in her own desire. That's how I'm interpreting this song, that she's kind of seeing how deep and how powerful it can be. And in a way, she's sort of owning the strength, but also the unpredictability that comes with that. Cool song. On to the next. Sympathy Magic.
Memory fails me, names and faces blur. There is only after or before. Am I so different Have I changed? I do not recognize my face. The scar fades, but pulls inside, tugging at me all the time, chewing on a feeling and spitting it out.
Spitting.
In a ball gown, anxious and ashamed.
Crouched in a ball gown is really powerful imagery, because a ball gown implies, first of all, standing straight up. It implies beauty and grace and elegance, and you're about to attend a ball, and there's maybe a political and a social element to that. But then crouched, whether that's emotionally crouched or physically crouched. Just imagine a person wearing a ball gown and crouched over. Just the contrast between being in a position that is probably quite vulnerable, maybe fearful, maybe in pain, maybe hiding, while wearing a ball gown. Wow.
Anxious and ashamed. Vague humiliations of fame. I do not find worthiness in virtue. I no longer try to be good. It didn't keep me safe like you told me that it would.
This feels like an expression of pain. Someone who was told by someone to just be good, to try to find their worth by maybe trying to accomplish certain things, but actually right now they're feeling humiliated. She feels humiliated, she feels unsafe, and she is furious at the you who sort of promised her that if she reached a certain place in her life that she would feel a certain way. And again, it's so interesting because it feels like she could be singing to herself in a way, where she's sort of saying to the part of her that idealized fame or idealized where she is now before she had reached this point. She's saying, you were wrong. You were so off. I don't feel the way that I imagined I would. And there's so much disappointment. There's so much hurt. There's grief in that. Wow.
Come on, tear me wide open. A terrible gift. Let the chorus console me. Sympathy magic. And the light coming in the window just so. And the wind through my fingers. The only God that I know. And it does not want me on my knees to believe. Head high, arms wide, aching, aching, aching. And
Just I feel bad stopping this song, which feels like it should just be this overflowing experience. I can just imagine her performing this with her arms wide open and her flowing gowns just billowing in the wind. And there is something painfully true about, you might be aching, but if you're feeling pain, at least you're alive, right? It is a sign that you are still alive, you have not died. She's really playing with these themes of life and death on this album, of pain and sacrifice, and sort of seeking a sense of safety, but perhaps not quite attaining it.
so I don't have to be worthy. I no longer try to be good. It didn't keep me safe like you told me that it would. So come on, tear me wide open till I'm losing my mind, till I cannot contain.
There's something so liberating about how she sings as if she has been liberated from expectations to be good. And she's kind of saying, you know what? I've decided to accept the pain that comes with what I'm doing.
Everything you got. What else? What else? What else? What else?
It's just sort of tempting fate. She's sort of saying, okay, what else you got? What else you got? Give it to me. I'm stronger than you think. I've come back from the dead, so I can take it. Just come on. I'm ready.
Come on, I can take it. Give me everything you got. What else? What else? What else? What else?
Cool production.
Sympathy magic. Come on, I can take it. Sympathy magic. Sympathy magic. Come on, I can take it. Sympathy
Scream. Everybody scream. Again with the outro. That really eases you out of the song. This is a really interesting phrase. Sympathy magic. Let me know how you guys interpret this one. I feel like I need to sit with it. Once I've listened to the whole album and I have it as a whole in my mind, I'd like to come back to this term and see what comes up for me. Okay. Perfume and milk. Interesting combination of things.
Perfume and milk, the body in bloom, the falling leaves, the fallen fruit, the rot and the ruin, the earth and the worms, the seasons change, the world turns, the trees turn gray, and the land turns brown, in a house in the woods on the edge of town. Bury it deep, swallow it down, taking the herbs, a laurel crown, doing the work and sleeping alone, downloading revelations, divine love on my phone, trying to.
Well, it just took me out. I did not expect a phone to be mentioned. I feel like I was in this almost like a fantasy world of a witch in a house in the woods. Again, with the very physical, very graphic descriptions of perhaps emotions, this idea of burying emotions deep down and not acknowledging them, or swallowing them to keep them down so that you don't have to spit them out. This sort of interaction between the idea of spitting and swallowing, because for both of those things, the starting point is you've got something in your mouth. It's in your mouth. Oh my God, I just realized the sort of like sexual connotations of that. Sorry. But this is a very graphic album. It's sort of touching on our primal, almost animalistic behaviors and ways of dealing with things, including our emotions.
but getting distracted. Trying to live but feeling so damaged, and all shall be well, all shall be well. Miracles are often inconvenient, and a prayer is a spell. I packed my bags and I got in the car, a pilgrimage to wherever you are. April comes with its blossoms, beaten by rain. Oh, the hope and the horror singing daffodils again. The land it thaws and the leaves turn green, and the blue stars are snow glories with the winter jasmine. Clothes of silk and satin, lace and leather, the one pink ribbon that holds me together.
Such a good line. This is one tiny little pink ribbon that holds me together. So there's not a lot keeping me together. I could explode at any moment. And these descriptions of how the seasons change and all the colors and aesthetics that come with that. I don't know if she has made music videos, but there's so much rich text here in order to play with visuals and to play with this imagery, which again, I feel can be taken so literally here, but then there is also a metaphor to all of this. And the idea that emotionally there's not much that sort of keeps her going here. She's suffering internally.
And all shall be well, all shall be well.
Perhaps trying to convince herself, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. There might just be one little pink ribbon holding me together, and at any point it could become untied or snap or shift slightly, and I'll just fall apart. But other than that, all shall be well.
Miracles are often inconvenient, and prayer is a spell. And I am changing, becoming something else, a creature of longing, tending only to myself, licking my wounds.
So primal, so animalistic, this album. And it's cool because a lot of these verbs, a lot of this language is mouth related, isn't it? The spitting, the swallowing, the licking. And if you think about it, there is nothing more animalistic, we could say, about the mouth. It's like, I mean, you need to eat in order to survive. That's like the basic foundation of existence. And that happens using the mouth, obviously, but it's also a really intimate part of the human body. And she calls herself a creature of longing, referring to that desire, I guess, that she mentioned in the previous songs. I wonder if here she might be referencing her miscarriage and, I mean, the absolute pain and trauma of that, and maybe a response is to really need to look inward, and just in that moment where you're processing that level of grief and trauma on a physical, mental, emotional, on all the levels, how maybe you don't have much capacity to do anything other than to tend to yourself. Sometimes in moments of trauma or intense difficulty, you don't really have the capacity to think of anything other than yourself. And sometimes you don't even have the capacity to tend to yourself. Yeah.
Burrowing down in a house in the woods on the edge of town. Well, healing is slow, it comes and it goes. A glimpse of the sun in a flurry of snow.
I love this. This is so true, because healing is not linear. It is not a linear process. Some days it'll feel sunny, some days it'll feel snowy. I really love that she's acknowledging this, because so often we can have this expectation of ourselves that, okay, I've set my mind to it, I'm going to heal. I've got a wound here that I've been licking for a while, and it's time for me to heal it. And we think that once we've set our mind to it and we've set aside the time, perhaps the money to go to therapy, for example. We think that it's going to be straightforward, but it is not straightforward. It is anything but straightforward. I love that she's acknowledging this. It can be such a messy, messy, messy process to heal. And especially if there is something like grief, like with a miscarriage or any significant loss, that healing is not going to be linear. You could even argue that there is no such thing as 100% healing in that kind of situation, but there is only moving forward and moving with the pain rather than expecting it to sort of just be healed magically or quickly or simply.
The first green shoots in a sudden frost. Oh.
Yeah, one day you might feel like, I am better today. And the next day you might be hit with the frost of anger, sadness, disappointment, shock all over again. You can feel it all in one day and seemingly nothing the next day, and then the cycle repeats and it's unexpected and it's messy and you don't know how many days of green shoots you're going to have. You don't know how many days of frost you're going to have. Really great imagery to describe that.
Something's gained when something's lost. The rot and the ruin, the earth and the worms, the seasons change, the world turns.
Yeah, the seasons are moving. This idea that time is still flowing, still moving forward, but your own internal clock and process when it comes to grief may not align perfectly with the external measurements of time and process. Really cool. Yeah, the world keeps turning even when you're processing grief internally.
Perfume and milk, the body in bloom, the falling leaves, the fallen fruit.
Could this be a metaphor for miscarriage? The idea of perhaps the body can create life.
And the ruin, the earth and the worms, the seasons change, the world turns. The world turns. The world turns. The world turns.
And the way she was whispering, the world turns. That whisper comes with a sort of despair, almost like she's saying, almost like she's acknowledging everything she does not have control over. You know, the world is going to keep turning in a sense, and you can't stop it. There are certain leaves that are going to fall, literally and metaphorically, sort of hopes that will not be fulfilled. And yeah, it feels like a song about grief and uncertainty and trying to understand and accept the complexity of life and all these really painful realizations that come with trying to heal and realizing that even healing is painful. Buckle. This is a happier sound.
I wanna call you on the telephone. I made 1,000 people love me. Now I'm all alone, and my resolve is sinking like a stone.
I really love the earthy metaphors, sinking like a stone. I made 1,000 people love me, now I'm all alone. Really powerful line.
What would I even say? I guess it's something that just never goes away. Crowd of thousands came to see me and you couldn't reply for 3 days.
Ooh. Yeah, fair enough, you know? When people want to, they do, you know? If he wanted to, he would. Well, yeah, like, there is a certain degree of truth to that.
'Cause I'm stupid and I'm damaged and you're a disaster. When you walk into the room, oh, none of it matters. Oh, baby, I just buckle my resolution and tatters.
Acknowledging that she's imperfect, but there is another human who is also very imperfect. She's aware of both of their imperfections. But she has no control over her desire, perhaps, for this person. It's just that powerful. I know you're imperfect. I know you don't reply for 3 days, and yet I still want you.
'Cause I know it won't work, but make it ache, make it hurt, keep me a secret, choose someone else. I'm still hanging off the buckle on your belt.
My gosh, the story here. Also, the play on words of buckling when the person comes into the room, and then also to be hanging off the buckle of someone's belt. Wow, that imagery. You must feel insignificant and powerless and helpless if you're hanging off someone's buckle.
The buckle on your belt, the buckle on your belt, the buckle on your belt. Then you close the door and leave me screaming on the floor. Oh baby, I just buckle, I can't take it anymore.
Painful.
Let you walk all over me, honey. You make me think my therapy is a waste of money.
Again, she's kind of touching on the theme of healing. I'm sort of making some assumptions here, but maybe she has been working in therapy on improving how she relates to people, wanting to relate to people in maybe a healthier way, maybe not be attracted to someone who leaves her screaming on the floor, someone who keeps her a secret and doesn't even choose her. Perhaps there is a pattern here of being attracted to people or to someone repeatedly who is hurting her, who's causing her more pain than good. And yet there is this powerful force just bringing her back again and again. And it makes her question, well, am I just wasting my time and my money and my effort in therapy and trying to change this and break this cycle? Because honestly, it doesn't feel like there's very much changing. And she's again acknowledging a very real aspect of healing, which is it can very much feel this is very normal. This is not unusual to feel for a very long time like you are aware of the cycles you want to break, but that doesn't actually stop you from repeating them and from being stuck in them for quite some time before you actually feel any shift. Healing is not linear. She is very aware of it and she is conveying it very honestly, very truthfully. She's right. She's right.
You think my therapy is a waste of drinking it down, haunting your city, falling for anyone awful who tells me I'm pretty. I blocked your number, but you didn't notice. Oh God, I thought I was too. Oh, so there.
She's acknowledging, though, she's taking accountability and saying, you know, I am attracted to people who give me some sort of validation, but who emotionally are actually really dismissing me, not meeting my needs emotionally.
Yes, I should be over it.
The amount of times I hear this in my therapy Practice. I should be healed by now. I should be over it by now. The cycle should be broken by now. But it doesn't work that way. It doesn't, I mean, eventually you want to get to a point where, you feel stable enough and recovered enough, and there should be, ideally, there will be enough of a shift, an internal shift, so that you feel more able to move forward. But often that doesn't happen for a long time. There can be a lot of trial and error, a lot of pain, and a lot of grieving that needs to happen first before there can be any resemblance of getting over it, whatever it may be.
I'm much too old for this, but I'm not over it.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm stupid and I'm damaged and you're a disaster.
It's painful to hear this kind of self-blame, self-criticism, that I'm not over it because I'm stupid and I'm damaged. But this is so universal. It's not easy to get over things, especially something like a relational pattern of being attracted to a certain kind of person. You're not attracted to them because you are stupid. There are forces sometimes beyond our control. The unconscious is a really powerful thing. We can be very intelligent, and actually a lot of very, very intelligent people do get pulled into repetitive cycles and do feel this way of, in theory, I am too old for this, perhaps. In theory, I feel that I would like to be over it. Perhaps I should be over it, but I am not. I am not. Just because I'm smart, just because I'm self-aware as well, does not magically cure me of what is usually a very deep emotional process.
When you walk into the room, none of it matters. Oh, baby, I just buckle my resolution in tatters. 'Cause I know it won't work, but make it ache, make it hurt.
In school, she's acknowledging that she welcomes and asks for the ache and the hurt.
I'm not better than this. Show me what I'm worth.
Ooh, what a good lie. Wow, really reflecting her low sense of self-worth, her low self-esteem. There's a part of her that believes she is not better than this. She deserves someone who is going to treat her in this way and cause her pain. So she's really acknowledging that deep self-critical voice, that deep sense of believing she's not good enough, she's not worthy. So much pain in this song.
Keep me a secret, choose someone else. I'll still be here, hanging off, I'm hanging off. Buckle on your belt, buckle on your belt, buckle on your belt, buckle on your belt.
I think this is my favorite song so far. It's so real and so self-aware. And it reflects something I think she said in one of the interviews, which was self-awareness, it doesn't fix your problems just because you're self-aware regarding your patterns and your emotions and the people that you're attracted to and the things that in theory you need to change in your life. It doesn't actually change anything just to recognize those patterns. You can still you can know the mistakes you're making and still make them. You can know what causes you pain and you can still inflict that pain on yourself. I really, really like how reflective, how raw, how emotional this song is. This is my favorite so far. Next we have Kraken. Okay.
Sometimes my body seems so alien to me. I quiet it down by watching TV.
Real.
But grow restless and grow hungry as the water rises up around me. You come on screen, so good looking it's obscene. I put my fist into my mouth and screams.
God. It's really, really, really cool how she talks about her relationship with her body. She talked a little bit about this in the interviews too, how her body is impressively able to just keep going through breaking her foot, through a miscarriage. It's like being on stage causes her so much pain, and yet she is physically able to just keep going. So this line, sometimes my body seems so alien to me. I wonder if it's sort of capturing that sense of you can sort of observe what your body is able to do, and you're observing it from a distance because it almost doesn't feel like you, because it's like, wait a second, I'm suffering, I'm grieving, I'm burning out here, and yet my body, this entity that is separate from me, just keeps going, keeps giving. And what do I do? How do I deal with it? I just kind of ignore it and try to distract myself, and I just keep going. And I'm very high functioning and perhaps not even in touch with the emotions that my body's trying to communicate to me. Like I'm restless, I'm hungry, hello. These are needs that my body is trying to get my attention for. And yet I'm perhaps not giving them the full attention that maybe they are asking for.
Things it seems are catching up with.
Until these things catch up to you, until you cannot ignore the physical signs anymore. Maybe at that point you respond and say, I should probably do something about these physical needs.
And as it rises to my chin, I should really stop watching. And as I reach for the remote, it is rushing down my throat. I let it in.
Again, with the mouth imagery, oh my gosh, it's so visceral.
I start to swim. I grow many arms and legs, and then I start to sing.
I grow many arms and legs like a kraken.
All of my peers that had such potential, but the swamp it took them down. And my love I have to take, I kiss them all and let them drown. Oh, you didn't see me, just another drunken groupie. So when your hand reached out, I just pushed you further down. Well, do you see me now? Creature from the deep, do I haunt you in your sleep? My tentacle
I'm monstrous, right? She said that in a previous song.
so tender as I caress your cheek. Did you know how big I would become and how much I would eat? So glamorous and ravenous as I drag you off your feet. There's nothing you can do. Some things it seems are catching up with you.
I don't know who the you is in this song. It's a really interesting dynamic happening here.
Said I would be nothing, but look, I'm really something. Many arms around the mast as your ship starts cracking. Were you singing through the pain? Have you changed? Well, so have I. As I fix you in the gaze of my one unblinking eye, do I terrify?
It does sound terrifying. Oh my God, the way she sings. This sounds terrifying.
Do I terrify?
Again, she's playing with fear, this idea of being scared, of causing fear in others.
All my peers that had such potential, the swamp it took them down.
She's talking, her peers perhaps being in the music industry. There's sort of an unspoken fear here of, if my peers who had potential, the swamp took them down, could it perhaps take me down? I mean, I know that I'm monstrous and powerful and strong, but there's almost an unspoken sort of uncertainty there of, if my peers were taken down, perhaps I could also be taken down.
My love, I have to tell you, I kiss them all and let them drown.
And it is an interesting power dynamic, because if you let them drown, could you have saved them, perhaps? But you chose not to save them.
You didn't see me, just another drunken groupie. So when your hand reached out, I just pushed you further down. Well, do you see me now? Do you see me
With this song, there is this sort of ocean imagery of being the Kraken and the waves sort of flowing. So the ending feels like a wave, because just the power, almost triumphant music in this part, and then how the song just tapers off the way a wave sort of comes and goes. I mean, not only is she letting them drown, but when they ask for help, she's pushing them further down. One interpretation could be emotions, like when your body is calling out and saying, hey, I'm tired. Hey, I have limits. Hey, I am hungry. The idea that you see those signals, but you have the choice of whether to push them down, help them up, name them, acknowledge them. And so there's something powerful and conscious and very violent about pushing someone or something further down in this way. Really cool. Okay, gonna take a quick break. Okay, we're back. The old religion.
And the old religion humming in your veins, some animal instinct starting up again. And I am wound so tightly, I hardly even breathe. You wonder why we're hungry for some kind of release. So tired of being careful, so tired of being still. Give me something I can crush, something I can kill.
Ooh.
A lightning strike, a fallen tree, and never fade. Oh, don't let it find me. But you had a run, yourself you see, and I'm powerless. So don't remind me. And it's the old religion, but the urge remains the same. Freedom from the body, freedom from the pain.
Oh my God, I almost don't want to pause this song, because the way it's written and structured, the way it flows, just it feels like a river. It's just kind of going and going. But I just wanted to acknowledge she's finally naming it, the animal instinct, which we can feel in throughout these songs. It feels like she's describing an emotion. My feeling is anger, probably, probably anger, that she is tired of holding in. And it is very human to have an aggressive instinct, the ability to crush, the ability to kill, really reflects that humans do have an aggressive instinct. If we try to deny the fact that we have that, then we're denying our humanity, we're denying reality. This is perhaps a generalization, but many women feel that they are not allowed to be angry. They don't feel comfortable acknowledging that aggressive instinct, which is very natural and very healthy, by the way. In nature, if something is about to kill you or crush you, it is healthy to have an aggressive response to that, to protect yourself, to protect your community. But a lot of women feel that they're not able or allowed to express that. Whereas for men, anger can perhaps be encouraged, or it's been traditionally more acceptable for a man to feel angry. And then the reverse is true for sadness, for example. For women, it's more sort of acceptable to be sad, whereas for a man, that is not as accepted. So I feel like this song is about bubbling rage that she has felt the need to suppress, to not express, but you can't outrun it. You can only deny it for so long. At some point, it will come out.
Freedom from the pain, and it's your troubled hero, back for season 6, when it's at its darkest. It's
Season
my
6.
favorite bit.
I'm just wondering, is this a reference to her? Is this her 6th album, perhaps? Season 6 is interesting because in a television show, by season 6, usually things are maybe a bit stale, not as exciting as in the early seasons. If a troubled hero is still going in season 6, there's usually a degree of tiredness that comes with that, perhaps a bit of darkness that comes with that. It's an interesting comparison if she's referring to herself.
And I am wound so tightly, I hardly even breathe. You wonder why we're hungry for some kind of release. Watch me crawl on hands and knees and scratch at the door.
The way this chorus builds and the way she sings and the production is so powerful. Again, the reference to fear. And I wonder if this is a fear of the anger, of sort of the fear of letting what has been suppressed for so long come to the surface, and the uncertainty that comes with that, of not knowing, and it perhaps being terrifying to see what could happen if it does come to the surface.
But you cannot run yourself, you see, and I'm powerless, I know, don't remind me.
You can't outrun yourself. Yeah, you can deny something only for so long, and at some point it does catch up to you.
And it's the old religion humming in your veins, some animal instinct starting up again. And I am wound so tightly, I hardly even breathe. You wonder why we're hungry for some kind of release. I let you run.
It's wild to sing I'm powerless with such a powerful voice and powerful music behind you. But I get it. It's the power of the thing that you're trying to suppress coming out from within you that is so powerful that you feel powerless to stop it. Wow. Yeah, that's a really powerful song. The irony of this being an insanely powerful song. Really good. Drink deep. Witchy vibes. You can't tell me this is not a witch right now.
Through bramble and briar, under ash and oak,
Sounds like a spell.
I went to find the hidden foe. They gave me gowns and riches, cut gold thread with their teeth. Every night I went to see them, no, I did not sleep. And every cup they brought to me, oh, you know I did. Drink deep, drink
That melody is so haunting. And the reference to the gown makes me think of that line in that previous song about being crouched in a ball gown and the contrast between having gowns and riches and yet, all the struggle and pain that comes with that.
My eyes began to hollow, my skin began to fade. What I thought was a night was 1,000 years. What I thought was a sip was 1,000 tears.
Is she drinking tears? Is she swallowing tears?
But still they said drink deep, drink deep. But the thread that they spun was a woman's hair, and a gown stitched from her tenderest flesh. And the
So
cup
graphic.
that they brought up to my lips, I realized I drank of myself. Yes, it came from me. It was made from me. Still I drank deep. Still I drank
I'm gonna need a long outro to recover from that one. Thank you. Thank you. Oh my God. skipping to the next song. Let me go back. What the heck did I just listen to? I mean, wow, talk about an almost religious experience. What a moving, haunting, slightly terrifying concept that your flesh has been used to stitch these gowns. That the cup you are drinking is perhaps your tears, your pain, and you are choosing to make contact with that, to feel that in the deepest way possible. I mean, drinking again with the mouth, the mouth symbolism. Wow, what an incredible way to paint this picture of a deep, perhaps spiritual experience of feeling, of living, of relating to yourself, of sort of getting in touch with yourself. Wow, wow. Okay, my lighting is getting a little bit darker, but honestly, it kind of fits with the vibe of this album. And you know what? There's some creepy yellow light over here. I would change it, but again, I feel like it fits with where this album is taking me. Music by Men. Ooh, well, she's already dissed Music by Men in a previous song. So let's see what this one says.
In every book in the house, notes from you fall out. All the love that came my way, I found a way to push away. I don't wanna be afraid anymore. I don't wanna run from love like I had before.
The theme of fear comes up a lot in this album. She already referenced loving and desiring men who perhaps do not show her a consistent or healthy form of love. And maybe on an emotional level, she has tried to escape from real love and has been drawn to relationships that don't show real love. But this is kind of the awareness, the self-awareness component of that. I don't want to keep repeating these cycles. I'd like to change this.
And on the way to couples therapy, you put your headphones in so you didn't have to talk to me.
Woo! Wow. This is really interesting. Like, you make the choice to go to couples therapy as a sort of symbol for we're on the journey to at least trying to address our issues and trying to improve and trying to, if not fix, at least improve some of these issues we have. And the irony of sort of talking the talk and saying, I do want to address these, and yet you're not walking the walk because you're physically and emotionally tuned out, the headphones sort of symbolizing, well, I'm not fully present here. I'm not fully present in this process of improvement with you.
Listening to our own demos on the ride home. You have a bigger ego than you think you do. I slide down in my seat so as not to threaten you.
Yeah, she touched on this theme before as well, right? This idea of being a powerful woman and how that can be threatening to people, especially men. And so maybe she finds herself suppressing herself, toning down her power, maybe even dismissing herself so that there isn't a sort of battle of power. She doesn't want to threaten the man, I guess, who is by her side.
Let it be us, let it be home, falling asleep and not looking at our phone. 'Cause I know how to fall in love, I do it constantly. I fall in love with everyone I meet for 10 minutes at least.
This is such a real depiction of relationships. Those first 10 minutes or 10 days, 10 months, but 10 years perhaps even, can be that honeymoon stage of feeling love, feeling joy, feeling so much hope. But then at some point, the reality is going to set in that no matter how obsessed you are with a human being, they are still a human being. So they're probably going to have things that you don't like very much, like their stupid t-shirt and their stupid haircut and all the emotions that come with that. At some point they're going to hurt you. You know, no human being is perfect. At some point they will disappoint you. There's almost a guarantee. It's just a matter of time. And that doesn't have to mean that, you know, the relationship is over or they're not the right person for you. Even in healthy relationships, these things can occur. And it's really cool how she's outlining that and being so real about that.
I always thought I was nice, I thought I was kind, until I tried to do something that was almost real life. It's not like what I've seen in TV shows, it's not like what I've read in books. It's so much harder than it looks, and there isn't much applause if it required practice and dedication. I just got bored.
If she's talking about romance and relationships, absolutely. It's not like what you see in TV shows and in the media. Sometimes what we see on TV is either the overly idealized and unrealistic version of romance, or we see the real human messiness, like in a lot of reality shows we see that. But what's missing is the sort of healthy version. Like, where is the in between? If we see the absolute ideals and we see the absolute mess, where do we see the sort of coming together, the sort of healthy in between of that, of how to manage when what you've idealized, what, you know, the honeymoon phase, when that passes and you're hit with the reality of a relationship, how do you deal with that? Or if you're in the absolute messiest of mess, how can you sort of bring that to a more sustainable, more compatible dynamic? You don't really see that on TV or in books. I feel like that is underrepresented.
We discussed something called compromise, a brand new concept that I've never tried. Let it be us, let it be home, falling asleep and not looking at all.
It's a huge ask nowadays to fall asleep and not look at your phone. It's like, wow, like it's a huge, you know, accomplishment, I feel, especially for millennials and everyone younger.
'Cause I know how to fall in love, I do it easily.
God, her voice.
I fall in love with everyone I meet for 10 minutes at least. But then
I mean, this is so funny and so sad at the same time.
comes the work, the resentment, and the hurt, picking at your haircut and that stupid bad t-shirt. Breaking my bones, getting 4 out of 5. Listening to a song by the 1975, I thought, fuck it.
Music
I might
made
as
by
well
men.
be music by men. Let's try. Let there be love, let there be light, let there be a quiet day and an easy night. Let me put out a record and have it not ruin my life.
Wow. Yeah, that, ooh. She mentioned this in the interview too. I think I actually wrote down in my notes the line. She said, "Why am I making records on hard things I don't want to talk about?" Wow. Yeah. The inner conflict. On the one hand, there's a part of you that needs to express it. And on the other hand, it's really effing painful to express and to have to keep coming back to in interviews, in performances. On some level, maybe it's therapeutic to release it, but at the same time, it ruins your life. So it does beg the question, is it worth it? Is it worth releasing a record that's going to ruin your life? Valid question for artists, probably one that needs to be grappled with, and there's not an easy answer to it.
Let it be us, let it be home, let it not be a spotlight standing alone, running back to the only love I could ever control.
Is fame the only love she could ever control? Perhaps because humans we cannot control. So maybe in some ways, putting out a record that feels like it's ruining your life, maybe that's actually easier than trying to have an intimate, complex, very difficult, because they are difficult, relationship with another individual human being. Ooh, wow. I really like that one. I really like this song. I love how real she is about human relationships and how messy they are. You can have it all. Is she kind of answering the question I was wondering about of sort of can you release music and stay sane in a sense? Can you have it all? Let's see. Chanting.
Sit in salt water, calling a vision of my daughter. Light a candle, place my grief upon the altar. A bird in my hands, a flower, a song. I used to think I knew what sadness was. I was wrong, a piece of flesh, £1,000,000 pounds. Am I a woman now? A crescent moon and apple sliced thick in the sky. The air smells of fruit and smoke.
How fitting. How fitting is this lighting for the vibes of this song right now? She's describing grief here, isn't she? And the imagery is disjointed in a way that feels intentional, because when you're in a state of such sadness, like a level and a depth of sadness that makes you question if you ever really felt sadness before, because what you're feeling now runs so much deeper and is hitting you so much harder. In that kind of headspace, I can see how these questions and images and things might be sort of passing through your mind, and it's almost hard to grasp onto any one thing or process what's happening. You're just feeling. You're not doing much else other than feeling and grieving.
Season is ripe. I stay in the house, move the furniture about, try and control what I can, and feel the world slip through my hand. You can have it all.
I'm shaking my head because clearly you can't have it all. That's really what she's saying, right? It's almost she's thinking back in irony to a time where she told herself she could have it all: career, fame, health, and a family. And the crushing, painful realization that, at least in this moment in time, she's not having it all. She's grieving very, very deeply. I just, whew, just the soaring pain of this realization.
Dug a hole in the garden and buried a screen, and from it grew a bright red tree shining with jagged leaves, and when the wind blows you can hear it.
The imagery of that.
Dug a hole in the garden and buried a screen, and from it grew a bright red tree shining with jagged leaves, and when the wind blows you can hear it.
The wind is blowing. And everybody's screaming.
You can have it all. You can have it all. Need some flesh, a million hearts. Am I a woman? No.
God.
Tree grows tall, can't cut me down. Am I a woman? No.
So she's the tree. Talk about jagged melodies, sounds. What a song. She is the tree. Incredible, this sort of question of what makes a woman? You know, how do you know if you're a woman? How do you define that? Some people might say, you know, you have to be fertile, you have to have a child, you have to be a mother to be a woman. You're not fully a woman, you don't fully understand what it means to be a woman if you don't go through that process. But that perspective is so painfully dismissive to so many women who do not have a child for a million different reasons. Oh my gosh, it's just the pain of you can have it all, perhaps a voice saying you can be a woman and have a career and have your health and have your sanity and be a tree and scream and have your anger and have all your feelings. And like can you have it all? It's a valid question to be asking. Like, can I really? Or are there perhaps very real limitations and realities that I have to face, and perhaps things I have to grieve? Very powerful. I think this is the last song, called And Love.
And love was not what I thought it was. It crept up on me despite myself. And it was not a love song, it was something else. More like surrendering to something more like resting than running.
Oh, it's really beautiful.
Peace is coming. Peace is coming. Peace is coming. Peace is coming. And love was not what I thought it was. More like an animal crawling deep into a cave.
I love these comparisons of being a human being like an animal, also emotions being like animals, and love being like an animal.
Then a romance novel heroine being swept away, more like surrendering to something.
Yeah, the idealized depictions of love and of women and of men and of humans are not quite as accurate as what true love and true peace feel like.
And more like resting than running.
It's really beautiful.
Peace is coming. Peace is coming. Peace is coming. Was not what I thought it
Yeah, this idea. Something really hopeful in this song. There's a sort of acceptance in this song, sort of accepting that maybe there is a beauty in surrendering, perhaps a beauty in accepting what we cannot control. And maybe actually that's where peace comes from. Maybe peace doesn't come from being active and trying to run towards a goal or putting a lot of energy towards moving towards something or fighting something, but rather just resting. There's something really, really beautiful. It's a really beautiful song to end on, a song of hope and acceptance and peace. Look, I'm going to listen to this album more. I'm going to digest it a bit more. I think there's a lot to digest. This album is a whole vibe, it's a whole experience beyond just the lyrics. And at some point, perhaps next week, perhaps in a few weeks, I will make a discussion video where I am gonna also maybe watch some music videos. I don't know if she's released any music videos or performances. I want to get some of the visual components of this, and then I will make a video where I sort of reflect maybe a bit more in depth on what is going on here. So please share your thoughts about this album in the comments. Share any of the themes or emotions or anything that you would like me to talk about in the discussion video once I've had a chance to digest this a bit more. I think this is a really powerful album with some very, very powerful emotions being expressed. So, wow, okay. It's evening now. The sun has set. I am in my witchy vibes lighting here, which turns out fits very well with the vibe. Thank you for joining me in this listening experience. It really was a whole experience. Be sure to come back for the discussion video. As always, thank you for being here, and I'll see you in the next video.